large buildings and flyovers are basically made of the same stuff. Well, all of these big and small things are related to iron and steel in some way or the other. Have you ever seen what iron looks like in its ore form? Do you think we can use it in this form to create all the things that we just saw? No, right? That's where the iron and steel industry comes into picture. It can convert this to this. The products from this industry can be used as raw materials for several other industries like automobile, heavy machinery, and so on. This is why iron and steel is a basic industry. So how exactly does this magnificent metamorphosis happen? Let's find out. It starts with the transportation of raw materials from the mines to the plant. At the plant, ore along with limestone and coke is charged into a vertical shaft furnace called blast furnace. A ratio of 4:2:1 is maintained between the inputs of iron, coke and limestone respectively. Inside the blast furnace, coke gets burnt, producing enough heat to melt the iron ore. Various chemical reactions accompany this process, finally forming molten layers of iron and slag. Slag contains impurities of the ore, which is separated out to get iron in its molten form. Iron produced in this process is called pig iron. In order to obtain steel from pig iron, it needs to go through further refining. Pig iron is again melted, while the impurities are removed through oxidation. Manganese, nickel and chromium are then added to improve the steel's properties. And finally, the steel produced through these processes are shaped through rolling, pressing, casting and forging. So, we just saw the entire process of an iron and steel industry. It's quite a complex process, right? And if you were to take a peek at the inner workings of the multiple processes, this is what you'd see. Man, these massive machines and equipment tower over almost everything around them. Even the raw materials that go into the industry and the products that come out are all so bulky and huge. It is cumbersome and expensive to transport all these from one place to another. It is due to these reasons that iron and steel is called a heavy industry. So, setting up this industry with its mammoth machinery is no easy feat. What kind of conditions do we need to establish an iron and steel industry? Well, firstly, there should be good quality iron ore available at a low cost. We would also need inexpensive labor and a large growth potential in the domestic market. And the Chota Nagpur Plateau fulfills all these conditions. So it's no surprise that the region has the maximum concentration of iron and steel industries in India. When it comes to marketing the steel that's produced, most public sector undertakings rely on the expertise of the Steel Authority of India Limited, or SAIL. In 2018, with over 100 million tons of crude steel production, India ranked second among the world crude steel producers. So, how do we stack up against the bigwigs of the iron and steel industry in the world? Well, in the 1950s, China and India were at par with each other as far as steel production was concerned. China has ramped up its capability over the years and become the top steel producer in the world. But in terms of sponge iron, which is another kind of iron produced through a different process, India is the largest producer. We need to improve our position because production and consumption of steel is often regarded as the index of a country's development. So, how do we fare in terms of consumption of steel? Well, in 2018, the per capita consumption of steel in the country was only about 73 kgs per annum against the world average of around 224 kgs. Even in terms of consumption of steel, China is the world leader. With an expanding economy, India has great potential for both production and consumption of iron and steel. But due to some challenges, we are not able to perform to our full potential. In fact, India imports good quality steel from other nations. High costs, limited availability of coking coal, and irregular supply of energy has been a continuing challenge for the industry. Moreover, lower productivity of labor and poor infrastructure also remain a hindrance in many cases. However, private entrepreneurs have made use of the liberalization and foreign direct investment policies of the government. These policies have given a boost to steel production. Allocating resources for research and development can also help us improve the scenario. Once we overcome existing challenges, we will be able to produce more steel to meet local demands. We may become the envy of the world in this industry too. Who knows? Aeroplanes fly high with so many passengers. How are they able to fly if they are so huge? Aren't they heavy? Well, that's where you might have been mistaken. Most of the airplanes are made from aluminium, a light metal. Aluminium is highly malleable, which means that it can be shaped into different forms easily, and it becomes stronger when mixed with other metals. This makes it an excellent choice for building airplanes. Apart from the amazing properties that we just saw, aluminium is also a good conductor of heat and is resistant to corrosion. Not just to build airplanes, aluminium is also used to manufacture utensils, wires, cans, and window frames, and much more actually. It has been used as a substitute for steel, copper, zinc, and lead in many industries. Therefore, the aluminium smelting industry has become an important industry in India. Aluminium smelting plants in the country are located in Odisha, West Bengal, Kerala, Uttar Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. Now, let's look at the process of aluminium extraction and smelting. Aluminium is extracted from its ore called bauxite. It looks like a dark reddish colored rock. Now, 4 to 6 tons of bauxite can give about 1 ton of aluminium. Therefore, bauxite is a bulky raw material. Aluminium production involves some complex physical and chemical processes. Let me simplify it for you. First, bauxite is transported from the quarries to aluminium refineries. Now here it is crushed and it undergoes various chemical processes to remove impurities like sulfides and carbonates. Aluminium oxide or alumina is yielded from this process. Next, the oxides must be removed from this alumina to get aluminium. Now this is carried out in the aluminium smelter through electrolysis. To carry out this process, the alumina needs to be in a molten state. But there's a catch here. The melting point of alumina is around 2000 degrees Celsius. It's too high. So, to mixture can then be used as an electrolyte. Calcined petroleum, coke and pitch or coal tar are also needed to make the electrodes in this electrolysis process. The electrolyte electrode arrangement is then passed with electricity. And how much would that be? Well, the smelter containing the electrolyte is supplied with 18,600 kilowatt hours of electricity per ton of ore. It's no surprise that the aluminium industry needs a steady supply of a lot of electricity. Now, at the end of this elaborate process, we get molten aluminium. It can then be cooled and shaped as per the requirement. The whole process involves transportation of heavy minerals and manufactured metal. Therefore, the aluminium smelting industry requires a cheap and reliable source of ore and an efficient transport system. Power supply is another important requirement for the industry, as electricity is a key requirement for aluminium manufacturing. Often come across many construction sites in our cities. All these construction activities require a large number of construction materials. Among those, cement is one of the most essential materials. It is used in building houses, factories, bridges, roads, airports, dams, and also for other commercial establishments. It seems the process of urbanization would not have been possible without these materials. From that perspective, the cement industry is vital to build our cities and towns. The first Indian cement plant was established near Chennai in 1904. Cement industries expanded to other parts of the country in the subsequent years. Bulky and heavy raw materials like limestone, silica, and gypsum are required for operating cement industries. For that purpose, the industry needs to be set up in near proximity to places that supply raw materials. To operate the machinery, it is important to ensure regular electric power supply. In many plants, coal is also used as the source of power. Coal is a heavy mineral. Therefore, efficient transportation is critical too. So, that was about the production of cement. Now, where do companies sell the cement that they have produced? Well, India has a significant domestic market for cement consumption. Moreover, some of the cement industries in Gujarat have the advantage of being close to export markets in the Gulf regions. And that's not all. There are also new opportunities of export to various countries in East Asia, Middle East, Africa, and South Asia. Thus, this industry has good prospects to meet the demand of Indian and foreign customers.